You function at a high level almost effortlessly. You get the praise, you get the accolades, but privately, you know there's more. There's something God put in you that you keep pushing to the back. You call it a business, but you've been treating it like your side chick. It's time to stop stalling and start building without sacrificing the life that you love or the stability of your job. Hi, I'm Jateya Jones, and this is the Confident and Courageous Clarity Podcast, where corporate creatives learn to do both, be the blueprint, and finally bring that God idea to life. Let's jump into today's episode. I want to start by saying something to you directly, and I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, but you probably don't have a capacity problem. I know that's not what it feels like. I know you feel like you need more time, more support, more energy, more bandwidth, more of something that would finally make the movement possible. I get it. I still say those things. But working with high achieving professionals across corporate, government, entrepreneurship, the list goes on and on. Between them all, I found that what people call a capacity problem is almost never actually about capacity. It's normally a clarity problem in a capacity costume. Hear me out, because that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back to the Confident and Courageous Clarity Podcast with me, Jateya Jones. And this is episode 4 of the expansion series. And it's also the finale. Dun, dun, dun. If you've been here with me through all 4 episodes, I want to say thank you. This series has been some of the most honest work or transparent work that I've put on the podcast. Mainly because in this season, I'm about saying the things that I normally wouldn't say. I'm in the season of pushing my clients to say the thing. Shake the up, okay? Say the thing that people aren't saying. Say the same thing that is faux pas, right? So I thank you for engaging with me during this series and actually digesting it for what it really is and confirming that the unsaid thing are the things that you guys really want to talk about. You want the real. So let me close the loop before we go into this final episode. In episode 1, we named the feeling. You have the receipts that you're not new to this, you're true to this, but something still feels off because the life that you built was designed for a version of you that you've outgrown. In episode 2, we connected the dots or followed the thread to what I call your common thread, the gift that's been showing up in every room that you've been in. So for me, that was whether it was the military, the government, entrepreneurship, nonprofit, education, public health. No matter the rooms that I walked into, my gift was my gift. So if you look at my resume, no matter the experience or industry, I naturally excelled in those positions because of what I naturally already embodied and what I brought to the table. And that was identifying the friction that others miss and closing the gap between what they knew and what they experienced, or what they knew and what they lived, right? So closing that gap so that you can actually live the life that you desired, or in organizations, get the outcome or the result that you truly desire. Because what I also noticed in a lot of them, which you've heard some examples in the past episodes, was that people knew where the things were, but the friction or the culture didn't allow for them to say these things. And so everybody's getting along or going along just to get along, you know? And so once you're able to literally say the thing, say it out loud, and create a actual implementation plan to course correct these things from executing and going in the wrong direction to actually execution and getting the desired results, personally and professionally. And so that was my gift. And I did it in every single room. That was my common thread. Took me a minute to identify it, but that was it. I have that lived experience, which is what I tell people all the time. I was my very first client because I had to close my own gap from what I knew to what I actually experienced or lived, right? So that was all in episode 2. Episode 3, we named the vision. Not the one that you felt comfortable with, not the one that made other people feel comfortable, but the complete, full, blow your mind, scare you sometimes vision. And now you're sitting here closer to identifying your common thread. You've said the real vision out loud. There's one question that this series hasn't answered just yet. And that's, why am I still not moving? I'm doing everything that I know works. I'm taking what I do at work, the structure, the outline, and I'm applying it to what I know. But there is no real traction, not my desired traction. I might be breadcrumbing or making baby steps, but why is there no real movement? And that is what we're going to talk about in this episode. So, been there, done that. So, I know this is what most of you guys, most of my high achieving corporate creatives, tell ourselves when things aren't moving. I need more time. I need more money. I need more support. I need more energy. I just need more of something that I currently don't have. And so many of us, we wait. We wait to the perfect time. And I'm here to tell you there is no perfect time. There is no perfect time. I have to tell a lot of my clients the plan to win method is designed for your current season of life, whatever season that is in. And so instead of us forcing ourselves to do things that don't align with the life that we're living right now, plan for the life that you are living right now, because there is no perfect time. And that way, you're not beating yourself up because you actually don't reach the desired goal or you're not able to do the thing. And so you're able to still keep moving the needle forward in the right direction and not just completely quit. Because that's what we normally do. When we force it, we force it, we force it. Then we beat ourselves up because today we didn't write on the book, or today we didn't record content, or I haven't put out a newsletter in 5 months. And then we just give up because it's like, why? Why even start from here? But that is all part of our perfectionism, recovering perfectionists here. But on top of that, we're high achieving. And it's like, if it's not working, we're looking at the receipts and the data, then it must mean that it's not meant to work. And that is not true. It's just that the systems and the structure that you built thus far don't apply to this season of life. So I know we want to wait until everything feels aligned and that it's the perfect time before, we actually make movement or we see movement. And so while you're waiting, you stay busy doing busy work that's not moving that needle in the right direction. Most of the time, it's moving it backwards, honestly, because even though you feel like you moved it forward, when you actually get to where you need to be, you have to go 20 steps backwards to create a solid foundation that was never created in order for things to actually flow and function without you being the bottleneck or the end all be all, which defeats the whole purpose in itself. But you feel like you're doing something because you're executing, you're delivering, you're still showing up, you're posting the content here, there, and everywhere. But there's no rhyme or reason until the market is still confused because you're not pushing the needle towards what really matters the most. You're just busy. And I know it feels good to check it off the to-do list, or if you're like me, you check it off and cross it out because there's something visceral there that's like, yes, I did it. But here's what I found time and time, again and again and again, in every strategy session, consulting rooms, and coaching conversations. You're not stuck because you're carrying too much. You're not in slow motion because you're doing the most. You're stuck because you haven't taken the time to pause and actually plan to see what priorities need to be in what order in this season of life. So you really don't know what matters the most. You're just doing the things that are on the to-do list, but you're not doing the things that help snowball things in motion. You think because I brain dumped this list, I know what it is, I know everything I need, which a lot of times you think you do and you really don't, but you just go into action. And again, you might move forward, but you end up going 20 steps back. Because I get it. Pausing to truly plan in the beginning is very overwhelming. It's like all this stuff, and I got this, and I got this, and I got this, and your brain goes into overload. I see it time and time again with all of my plan to win intensive clients. But we have to breathe through it. In your nose, out your mouth, right? Because the thing of it is that once you do that and you actually do things that matter first, the momentum picks up and it catapults you light years ahead of you just randomly going down the to-do list. Because honestly, let's be honest, Then something else pops up and you put it on the to-do list, but it ends up at the bottom when it really needs to be at the top. And then you might spend 10 minutes of your day at the beginning of every day going through that to-do list to see where to start. When if we've already put it in order by priority, you know where to start. You've saved yourself 10 minutes every morning and you've catapulted or 10x the time that it's going to get things moving. Because yes, honestly, we all can use more time. And I always say, people are like, Beyonce has the same 24 hours as you do. And I'm like, but she also has a shelf and a personal trainer and a nanny and a da-da-da-da. So no, she does not have the same. She has a lot more time than we do, right? This has always been my argument. However, comma, not to take away from her drive and her hustle, because the moral of the story is that more time isn't going to fix an undecided priority or like having things out of order. More staff isn't going to fix a sequencing problem. I always say, I go into these corporations and organizations and they're like, oh, we need better execution. And I'm like, does that really matter if they're like in overdrive, but they're still pushing things forward in the wrong direction? It doesn't, because the execution really isn't the desired outcome. It's the desired outcome. And so we have to make sure the priorities are in order so that things snowball into the movement that we would like to see. And I used to just be all motivational and inspirational because that's naturally who I am. But I'm also like tough love, Capricorn, let's get this done so then we can go back outside and play. Because honestly, motivation isn't going to fix misalignment. If things are not in order, you guys know my 3 E's that I love: ease, efficiency, and done in excellence. If it's not those three, I don't want part of it. So, like, for real, let's get things in alignment. Let's prioritize what needs to be done so we're not wasting time. We're doing things efficiently, and you catapult or 10x yourself towards your desired outcome. So, honestly, let's simplify everything. The one thing that fixes all of those things is the answer to this question: what needs my priority right now? What deserves, what better yet, requires your attention right now? Right now. Not what's on the list, not what's urgent, not what other people need from you. What deserves your attention in this season, given your common thread and the vision, the big one that we said out loud? What deserves your attention in this season? And I know this is not an easy question to answer because our knee jerk is to say, oh, my kids, my husband, my house, finishing up a project at work, or all the things outside of you, the shoulda, woulda, couldas. Those are our knee jerks that we tend to run to and go to and say, that deserves my attention now. But that keeps putting this thing on the back burner. And this thing is the thing that unlocks everything that your heart really desires. That thing you said it in series one. I think it was series one, when you had to name, what do you really want? And what really makes his question so hard to answer is because it requires you to put down all the things that aren't yours. They're not yours to carry. They're someone else's responsibility. You've just been showing up and volunteering to do it for so long, you think it's yours. And they allow you to because it helps them get what they need to get done without any accountability or effort. But in this season, I need you to realize that self first is not selfish, and it's time to be self first. And this is the part that most people avoid because it feels wrong. It feels unnatural. It feels mean, even sometimes. But it's mainly because you just don't know how to show up this way. You've been conditioned to be how you are. And you've heard me say time and time again that rubber band analogy: to be stretched, to go to that next level, you're naturally going to want to bounce back to what you know. But I'm telling you, once you put you first and you start to do this, that rubber band loosens up and it gives you more capacity because you have more clarity to do the things. All of a sudden, you have a little bit more time to do the things. All of a sudden, you actually have the support to do the things because you're clear enough to figure out what that is and actually ask for that thing from the individuals who can provide you those things, and not the individuals that you were showing up for that 9 times out of 10 not going to show up for you. That's another story for another day. And I understand, like, letting go of your old priorities feels like giving up. But honestly, that's no longer your goal. The goalpost has moved, but we're still marching at the same cadence in the same direction towards a thing that you technically no longer want and that no longer serves you. It can't show up for you. It can't pour into you any longer. And so you're not giving up. You're just calling an audible to make sure that you actually accomplish your goal. And again, the title of this series, it's called expansion. That is the goal. We established that in episode 1 of the series. So let me back up. Let me share about a season that I lived through that I truly didn't understand until I was on the other side. I mean, if you can relate, maybe you can't, but I feel like you can. I felt like I needed more of everything, more time, more capacity, more money, more energy, more freedom, more flexibility, all the things of more, just to be able to manage what I currently had. And so I kept adding more certifications, more tools, more resources, more strategies on being efficient, more planners. I was always super busy. And I really did truly feel like I was being productive because, again, I was checking it off and crossing it out because I knew it was one of the things that I needed to do to get ahead. But there became a point in time where my busy, or what I'd like to call genuinely productive, led to burnout. It was no longer a driving force that I could stay awake for hours and hours on end because the work was exciting. I started to want to give up. And honestly, the peak of this situation was I am a woman of my word. And so I had told my friend I was coming to her pool party for her birthday. But I was so exhausted, you guys, like exhausted, that I knew if I did one more thing other than lay in that bed and rub my feet together, that I was going to be sick the next day. And I started listening to something in the background on the TV, and it basically was like, if you died today, tomorrow when you woke up in heaven, would you have been happy with the decision that you made your last day on earth? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, would I be happy that I went to this party and got sick? And my answer was no. I literally said no out loud. And in my head, I had made up all these stories. She was going to be mad at me. She was going to be upset. She was looking forward to me coming. I was going to disappoint her by not showing up to her birthday pool party because I said that I was going to go. And that was going to crush my soul. Eventually, I mustered up enough courage to call her and be like, I'm so sorry. I'm not going to make it, but I don't feel well. And in a true friend manner, she said, oh, girl, it's okay. Get some rest. We can link up another time. I'm going to celebrate my birthday all month. And the relief that came over me from choosing me. Because normally that would not have happened. I would have kept it the busy, 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 busy bee. I'm a woman of my word. And I would have been sick, like sick, because I felt it coming. And I literally laid in bed all day that day and rested, which is what my body needed. And in that season, I learned to not carry self-imposed things that aren't mine to carry, as well as other people's, because I did start to find myself around a lot of people who were upset when I started saying no, because I was doing a lot of the heavy lifting in their life. Because that is how I showed up as a friend, not realizing that they were using me and I was really not. And they really weren't my friend, but I was their friend. So this led to what I also felt was another season of loss and grief and like, what is happening? What is happening? But honestly, I truly believe that it was truly just God removing everything that needed to be removed so that I could become the person I needed to be able to carry the vision that I spoke out loud, the big one, to be able to protect it at all costs, to be able to be in my best fit self, to be able to carry it and show up how I needed to show up, where I needed to show up, how I needed to show up as my best self in that next season. That is what I see now. It didn't feel good then, But that is what I know now. And I am truly thankful for it because I can see a lot of the people that I thought were coming with me to the end purposely sabotaging my success and growth. Um, I can also see me always being sick and burnt out and not showing up as my best self to help those that I'm called to serve because I didn't know how to say no. And I was picking up stuff that was mine and I was accepting stuff that wasn't mine until I was so weighted down that I really didn't even have the energy, nevertheless, the hands or capacity to do the thing. So all of those goals that I had set in a previous season, gone because they weren't meant for this season, right? All the previous commitments that I made, if they no longer serve me and I could not show up as my best self, ease, efficiency, and done in excellence, canceled. More importantly, priorities that made sense in that season that were taking up space for being able to do the next, put to the bottom of the list or even taken off. Because once I realized I did not have a capacity problem, I had a clarity problem, dressed up as a capacity problem in a very convincing costume. I put all the things down that didn't belong in this season, and all of a sudden, I now had room to actually achieve. Not because I found more time, which technically you could argue I did, but because I finally decided what this season was for and prioritized those things. So let me give you the actual diagnosis. The world tells us that the solution to feeling overwhelmed is more capacity, more time, more resources, more support. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes you genuinely need more support. You need to learn how to ask for help. I know it's hard. Been there, done that. Hershey me. But once I did, it felt humbling. And I was so grateful for those who showed up and showed out for me. But when it's not that you need more time or support, it's one of these three things. First, it's undecided or misaligned priorities. You have that long running to do list, but it's not in any kind of order. And you just keep adding things to the bottom. And some of those things at the bottom truly need to be at the top. Executing against everything equally, which means basically you're making meaningful progress towards nothing in the wrong direction. Secondly, is inherited priorities. And that's things that you have on the to-do list for this season that were technically for last season. And or because somebody else put them there. And or you went and volunteered for them. And now you're looking at them like, I really don't have time for this, but you also don't have enough courage to tell those individuals, sorry, but I can't, and or enough courage to just strike it off the list in general for yourself, because again, you feel like then you're giving up or you're failing, when in all actuality, they just need to go because they're no longer a priority now. The goalpost has moved. So let's march towards the thing that is actually the goal and let's score this winning touchdown. And the third thing is a sequencing problem. Again, you have this long running to do list and nothing is in order by priority. You're trying to do step 12 before you even got to step 2. And believe me, I've tried to skip steps before and I felt like it was moving forward and it just knocked me 20 more steps back just for me to have to start all over again. And granted, step 12 is legitimate work. It needs to be done, just not right now. It's out of order. And doing work in the wrong order is not productivity. That's called chaos. It is very busy stagnation because you end up in the same spot, if not 20 feet back. And I don't want that for you. So it's not a time management problem. This is a priority management problem. And if you heard me talk about the Plan to Win planner before, I tell people all the time, it's not about time management, it's about priority management. And that is how the planner is designed. We'll get back to that later. But I wanted to mention that because that is a significant difference. We're taught time management, time blocking, all the things, and that does not work for us because time management is based off the assumption that you're misusing your time or that the issue is how you actually use your time. And priority management asks a totally different question. That question is, are you using your hours and time that you have on the right things for this season? Because you can be perfectly efficient on the wrong priorities. And being efficient on the wrong priorities is not progress. It's organized misdirection. Every strategy session that I've ever run eventually gets the client to the exact same spot. They have different lives, different visions, different industries, different seasons, but eventually we always end up asking the same question. What deserves your attention right now? What is easiest? What can be removed, delegated, or done for this season? That question is the beginning of actual movement in the right direction. Progress often begins the moment you stop trying to solve everything at once. As multi-passionates, it's hard for someone to tell us to focus or niche down. That's not what I'm asking you to do, because you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you, okay? Just not all at the same time. We have to prioritize and let it become an ecosystem so things flow together, not siloed. And I'm working on this one and working on this one and working on this one. No, an ecosystem. So half of your work can actually go towards multiple things at one time. That's the secret sauce of doing all the things. But for all purposes of this series episode, remember this. Your assignment is not to do everything. Your assignment is to execute the next right thing. Everything done in order. Because I don't know if you are anything like me, but I got to a point in life where I got tired of I wanted a life that easily went like this. I wanted to say from 7, I wanted to be a doctor, and now I'm here because I had the playbook and it was all laid out for me. But no, my life ended up doing this before I did this. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired. I was tired. I'm still tired. Because every other day I'm just like, okay, Lord, I built the thing. I have it so we can rinse and repeat, not copy and paste. And he's like, here, tweak it just a little bit more, right? So again, I still have to build every step before I take the next step. But now I'm not taking that next step and falling through and having to go backwards and rebuild the step just to take the next step, because I am prioritizing the right next step. Not trying to skip steps to get all the way to the end, because I did that for many, many months. So I want to close this series by naming something that I hope you're really walking away with. 4 episodes ago, technically 3 episodes ago, you started off with a feeling that something was off. And over the course of these episodes, we've moved through 4 truths. Number 1, your success may not be the problem, but it also may not be the full answer anymore either. That life that you worked so hard to build for the version of you that you've outgrown, that definition of success is no longer satisfactory. Truth number 2, the problem is not knowing. It's not that you don't know, because you do know. You are multifaceted, multi-hyphenate, multi-passionate, corporate creative that knows a lot about a lot of different things. You've just been working in that space between knowing and actually experiencing or living the thing. And you've been doing that your entire career, because something in you, as you scale the corporate ladder, was like, there's more, there's more, there's more. The gift has always been there. Your common thread has always been there. You were born with it. The third truth, your vision was never too big. You were just sharing it in rooms that were never designed to support you or it. And the fourth truth, the one we landed on today, you don't need a bigger life or more time or more capacity. You need a clearer life. Clarity is the true key. Clarity is not the reward for movement, but it is what makes movement possible. So remember, the life you really want can emerge if you're still carrying priorities that were for the life you've already outgrown and a season that's already ended. So before we talk about more, let's talk about what no longer needs to be in this season. And once you've answered that question honestly, the next right thing will be so much easier to see. You've removed a lot of the clutter and a lot of the noise. Every episode in this series has ended in one question. Well, maybe more than one, but a main one. Episode 1, what am I actually building? Episode 2, what problem has always found me? Episode 3, what is the vision that I've never said out loud? The real one. And the question for this episode, the one I want you to carry forward, what am I still carrying that no longer belongs in this season? Not everything on your list deserves to stay. Sorry. And not every priority you inherited is yours to keep. And not every commitment that you previously made belongs in this season. And once you can answer this question honestly, not from that place, you'll have more clarity, more capacity, and more movement. So with that being said, Thank you for being here for all 4 seasons. If you started with this one, go back to the others. I'm telling you, it's worth it. And I know the expansion season isn't an easy one. It's not comfortable. It's literally like that rubber band that you're trying to stretch, but it keeps pulling you back. And you stretch a little bit and it keeps pulling. But we all know, anybody who's ever had a rubber band, a ponytail tie, anything, it eventually, that elasticity grows. But it's not comfortable to put on for your head because it's like, oh, this is too tight for a really long time. And that's the greatest analogy I can give you for the expansion season of your life. And realizing that the goalpost is moved. And yes, we want to keep marching forward, but in the right direction, not in the wrong one, because we previously committed to that in another season and it no longer serves you. So I know it's a tough one. I'm here to say, breathe through it. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And I'm here to hold your hand through it, but it's so, so worth it in the end. So thank you for walking with me on this growth journey, the past 4 seasons, the past 4 episodes. I don't take it lightly because I know it's very uncomfortable. But for those of you who know there's more, you know you're meant for more. You know you are built to impact more. You want to arrive in that next season the best that you can be. And this is the way that I guide there so that you can eventually go from knowing to living and experiencing in fullness the life that you see for yourself, that your heart desires, and that you finally said out loud in episode 2 of this series. So if this episode landed for you or any of the other ones, please share it with a friend or someone that you know is also in an expansion season. Sharing is caring, and we're not meant to do it alone. And if you're ready to go to that next level with some support and literal hand holding, just a little bit, because remember, I am one of tough love. There's one solution that I would suggest for you right now, and that's the Plan to Win Intensive. We build your plan to win around this season of life, not skipping steps, but actually breaking steps down into manageable tasks so you know 3 things you need to do a day to get to that goal by your desired date. And again, if life's, because it will, you know where to pick up to continue on instead of spiraling out of control, trying to figure out where to even start after life is life and or is still life, but has calmed down a little bit. And so it's me and you one-on-one, and we literally take a full day to talk about the real vision, the big vision, and break it down into bite-sized pieces. And then you can come on over into the Clarity Lab, where there's community to provide the cliff notes, resources, support, connections, network, all the things to help you keep this moving. And then that's where you actually are able to skip some steps because doors open for you, opportunities are available, and you're in the room that can actually hold and support your big vision, not the ones that are no longer too small, but the people who actually get you and are ready to support you because they know that feeling as well. And then the other thing, if you're not quite ready to dive all the way in, is the quarterly strategy sessions. The next one will be for Q3 if you are watching this in live and live in color time. But again, we do this every single quarter. And so you can dive in. It's every Monday of the month where we break things down for you to prepare for the next quarter. Not moving in action, but plan so that moving can be in ease, efficiently, and done in excellence. All these links will be in the show notes. But if you do have questions, concerns, DM me, hit me up. I'm a real person. I do respond because my mission that I love to make a movement is to truly help you make the vision possible and turn a dream into a reality so that the world is a better place, not just for me and you, but for those that you're called to serve. This has been the expansion season. What happens when the life you worked on so hard no longer works for the person that you've become? You expand and you build from there. And that's what you've done these past seasons. And I can't wait to see what happens in your next. Until then, I'll see you guys, same place, same time next week. Bye. If this confirmed what you've been feeling, stop putting it off. You already know what God told you to build. If you're ready to move in obedience, book a clarity call. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, you have the clarity, you have the call. Now it's time for the courage.